Hey guys, what's up? My name is Anthony. Welcome to another edition of B&A Sports Talk. And today what I want to talk about is how the Patriots selling off this year potentially could help the New York Giants. Now, I'm about to make my Super Bowl and all playoff predictions and stuff. Spoiler alert, I don't have the Patriots making the playoffs. I have them at around 7-9, probably 8-8, 6-10 by the time I actually record and upload my video. But they play teams like the Seahawks, who have Russell Wilson, obviously the Cardinals. They play Houston like every year for some reason. They also play the 49ers, so they play some pretty good teams this year. I have them at around 7-9, and people like Colin Cowherd, and I kind of agree, are like, what if they just go towards the end of the season and just have a complete sell-off? And the Giants could be beneficiaries of this. We don't have a lot of cap flexibility, only about $5 million, which will hurt us. But there are some players on the Patriots that could potentially be good. Some of our assets that we have right now are tradable pieces. I think that Evan Ingram would be on the trading block. It depends how he works out in this offense. I think that, we have some draft picks, obviously, the third and the fourth, that sort of thing. There are not too many pieces on our team that I think are tradable. Leonard Williams, not really. James Bradbury, Blake Martinez, we just signed those guys. We just have a new, fresh roster, and there aren't too many players that we could potentially trade. Dalvin Tomlinson, though, is a big one. He's the biggest piece that I could potentially see us trading to the Patriots if we don't want to give up picks. The Patriots' defensive line has, deteriorated over the past couple of years. Take a look at it after Vince Wilfork left. They haven't really had that guy up the center, and I think that, a guy like Dalvin Tomlinson from Alabama could potentially work with the New England Patriots. Evan Ingram signed his fifth-year option, but, we can get rid of his contract. I think it's fairly tradable. The Patriots would pick it up easily, help Jarrett Stidham out. An extra tight end for the Patriots wouldn't hurt them. It would cost a lot of, I think, draft picks as well if we decide not to trade a player. So those are some of the assets I'm thinking about giving up if we're the Giants. Let's talk about some players and pieces that we can get from them. Stephon Gilmore recently restructured his contract, so it's a little bit more workable for the Giants, but it's still going to be $35 million they're going to be paying to two corners. The realistic reason I see this would happening is if DeAndre Baker doesn't pan out, Julian Love ends up not being good, if Corey Ballantyne, and you have a team that may go to the playoffs, and you're just like, well, Stephon Gilmore, take a look at him last year. Defensive Player of the Year, and the Patriots will be willing to give him up. He only has 2 years left on his contract. He's pretty much like a lame duck right now, it feels like almost, especially on a team that wouldn't compete. You'd get rid of $20 million in cap space if you're the Patriots. That's a no-brainer, I think. So it would honestly, it would kill the Giants' cap. I would only do it if you're sure you're not going to re-sign Leonard Williams. If you can give Evan Ingram away, and then the cap kind of works out. Those are the only two ways, and it would be pretty expensive as well. I'm thinking at least a third and a fifth, like we're used to, I guess now, but at least that, and plus even more, because this guy, remember, just won Defensive Player of the Year, but he's familiar with Joe Judge in the system, and I think it could potentially work out. Imagine Stephon Gilmore and James Bradbury. You have some inexperienced safeties. I think he's too reliant on the safeties' help in the back, but the Patriots would save $15 million by trading him, or close to it, around $10 million, so it would make sense for them towards the end of the season. His contract is through 2021, so he's a free agent in 2022. Next is Isaiah Wynn. This doesn't really make sense for the Patriots because he's still under his rookie deal, fairly cheap, but it would make sense for the Giants. He is from Georgia. His position is left tackle, and him and Andrew Thomas have a little bit of camaraderie together. He has been injured. The main thing coming out with him was not his talent, not his speed, just the length of his arms. He projects more out to a guard and potentially even a center if we can develop him that way, so that can solve our center problem. It feels like it's American Idol, like 50 people are trying out for that one position, but, that could work. And Isaiah Wynn, the thing is, again, he's under his rookie deal. He would make the Patriots lose, I think, some money in cap. I'm not too sure how that exactly works out, and it would be a lot of money. He was a former first-round pick. Damaged goods, maybe we can get a third-rounder for him. It would be a decent option for the Giants, but again, I don't think that'll happen. I made some videos in the offseason talking about Isaiah Wynn. Here's another example about me talking about Isaiah Wynn. He's a decent player, but again, those injuries kind of scare me. Next is Mohamed Sanu. His contract expires after this year. He was traded for a second-round pick to the Patriots last year. I think we can get him for a fourth or a fifth. If our wide receiver core starts getting injured, if Sterling Shepard starts going down, if Golden Tate starts going down, I think we can offer him, again, a fourth or a fifth pick for Mohamed Sanu. He's just a master of all trades. Doesn't do anything great. Hasn't made a Pro Bowl, But, he's overall been solid, averages about, I would say, like 600, 700 yards a year with 12 to 11 yards per reception. And he doesn't really have that much production as far as touchdowns go, only 26 since 2012 when he was drafted. But overall, he's solid. For Matt Ryan, I mean, he's been to a Super Bowl, so he has experience like that. And he's not awful, he's just a solid wide receiver. And we could bring him in, see if he wants to sign a contract. I get it with like Jamar Chase, who we're going to get. You can't look too far into the draft. And you can't be like, okay, we're going to draft Jamar Chase, we're going to draft Jalen Waddle. Because what if those guys get injured? What if something happens? What if the DeAndre Baker thing happens and whatever? You want to get the best guys on your team. And it depends, again, where we are at the end of the season. But Mohamed Sanu could potentially be a good answer because he does cost a lot to the Patriots cap. He would clear up, some space for the Patriots, but then again, why would they want to get rid of him if his contract is just going to expire? Maybe it's going to be like a Bill Belichick thing, get an asset to trade up for a Trevor Lawrence next year. So that's the only reason I could see. Next is Joe Thuney. Now, he's the most intriguing one because he's a center, an experienced guy that we may need. I have a lot of young guys on this roster and, Spencer Pulley and John Halapio that I don't fully trust. So bringing in a Joe Thuney, who hasn't signed his contract, I don't believe, just yet, he would be $14 million in cap space plus, and it would be really expensive for the Giants pretty much. But we would get an experienced center. Take a look at all of our centers on this team. He can also fill in at a guard spot if we feel comfortable with his center, but he'd most likely play center. He would be the most highly paid player at his position, but he can bring experience to this team, help out Daniel Jones, and make this offensive line flow fluid together. And yeah, so I think that would be a great option if you're the Giants. And you wouldn't have to give up a lot for him because, if Joe Thuney plays it his way, he could potentially go to the Giants for minimal. Other guys that have high cap hits for the Patriots that I don't think are likely. You have Dante Hightower, but he's a linebacker for the Patriots, if you didn't know. Drafted in 2012 or 2010, I forget. But he's old. He's pretty old right now. He's coming off a Pro Bowl season around the 70 PFF grade, low missed tackles, all these certain things. He's a better player than Blake Martinez. Are we committed to Blake Martinez? Are we going to have to pay him a lot of money to come here and we have to give up a lot of assets? I don't really see that happening. There's also guys like Julian Edelman that I'm like, are you sure you want to bring Julian Edelman in? I'm like, we have a Golden Tate already. We have a Sterling Shepard who can also play a little bit in the slot. There are rumors about him going to the Lions. There are rumors about him going to Miami, following Tom, or something different like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for everybody that I have to mention. Devin McCourty just signed a contract. Shaq Mason just signed a contract, and we don't even need a right tackle. But these are some of the top cap hit players for the Patriots that they can be looking to get off of. The most likely, I think, is Joe Thuney. They also have David Andrews, which I just saw. They can save $3 million off the cap this year. And David Andrews could potentially be an interesting player as well. He plays center. He's one of the top centers in the league, but I think they're going to keep him over a Joe Thuney. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Let me know what you guys think. What potential players could we be looking to get from the Patriots? Do you think some of these are, viable, not viable? Do you think we'd have not enough cap space? I really do think, Dalvin Tomlinson, from Alabama, from the Patriots, not from Alabama, from that sort of like mindset, he'd work. And I think we'd potentially get a third rounder or maybe like a pick swap for him from the Patriots, which could be a good option. But hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys.